The MLB playoffs are in full swing, and now that the wild card series have ended, we have a stage set for the division series. And beginning with the Orioles Rangers series, which has a couple interesting storylines. So, first being that the Orioles are in the playoffs again for the first time in quite a while, and the Rangers have a bunch of interesting wrinkles, like will Max Scherzer come back, which there have been rumblings of, and just all sorts of. Is Eovaldi back? He had a really good outing in Game 2 of that wild card series. But yeah, so let's begin with the Rangers because I think it just makes the most sense. That Rangers team, they certainly showed out, I think, in all facets in Game 2. That offense started clicking. Eovaldi had an absolutely amazing outing, which was great. It's definitely, this Rangers team has promise and can certainly go all the way, frankly, I think, off the back of Jamont and Eovaldi. So I think in Game 1, we learned Jamont absolutely shoved and is going to be huge for this Rangers team in this playoffs. Their offense didn't quite get going in Game 1. I mean, they had 4 runs, which is, like, okay. But a lot of that came off of bad defense from that Rays team. And, Glasnow had an okay outing, just didn't really get any help from that the Rays defense, really. They caught a lot of errors, and that offense didn't come to play. So, very disappointing outing from the Rays in that perspective. But the Rangers, hey, they played who they played, and they won fairly easily, I would say. They were in command for pretty much that whole series. And Jamont shoved, Eovaldi shoved, which is a really good sign for that Rangers team. And that offense came out in Game 2, so let's hope for their sake that they can continue that offense and to continue their success is what they're going to need. But now, like this game, so you have Bradish and Andrew Heaney on the mound. I assume that Heaney will have a very short leash, just as that comes with your third starter in the playoffs. They do get Jamont back in Game 2 and then Eovaldi in Game 3. So really, the only real disadvantage, like for sure, in this series is the Game 1, where even like the thing with this Rangers team is like even though they may have the disadvantage in the starting pitching and bullpen, like this team can just come out and pummel you with this offense. I mean, you get Seager involved, you get Semien involved. Evan Carter had a masterful series in the wild card from the plate. He just doesn't look like a rookie out there. He's very calm and patient and taking control of his at-bats. But, I mean, even Leody Taveras and all that. I mean, we talked about this in the preview. This Rangers lineup 1 through 9 just has this ability to come at you and make you scared, frankly. And that's what they're going to need to, for sure, I think, secure themselves a spot in continuing this success. But it helps that you get Jamont looking at his best. I mean, like we've never seen this before from Jamont. Really, he was really good, but he seemed to go to a different level in that wild card outing, which was really nice to see. We saw vintage playoff Eovaldi again, which was also good to see, and I frankly didn't expect it coming off of another arm injury. And his end of the regular season didn't seem to be too hot, but he just came to play, and that's awesome because they're going to need from those two guys especially to get to decent outings, so they don't have to rely on that bullpen like they might in Game 1 of this series, and then Game 4 or 5 if it needs to get there. But so this Rangers team is maybe clicking now, which could be a problem for this Orioles team, and I guess we can transition into there. Bradish has had an amazing year. This bullpen is very good, and this lineup is also very good. I mean, they won the AL East for a reason. So it's no secret that these Orioles, who are young and looking to be a potential dynasty, really, with Adley and Gunnar, and you've gotten a bunch out of Santander, and it's looking really good. This farm system is also really good, but that's more for the future. So for now, I mean, you got Bradish on the mound in Game 1, so I would assume you have the advantage there. Hopefully, if you're an Orioles fan, he gives you a really good outing, which is, you'll be on edge this whole time because of this Rangers lineup. But I mean, he had a very good year, Bradish did. So you'll have the advantage over Heaney probably in Game 1, which is always a plus, and you're rested. But Game 2 gets really fun with G-Rod taking the mound against Montgomery. So just G-Rod went on a tear in that second half of the year after being called up and then having not a very good outing against this Rangers team, funny enough. But he went back down to AAA, fixed a few things, and then absolutely shoved and looked like the guy we thought he could be. So that's great. They're going to need him to step up because, outside of this series, outside of Bradish and G-Rod, I mean, you're going to have to give innings to some guys who you're just scared of for this series, frankly, just because of how good this Rangers lineup is. But if those two guys can absolutely shove, then you're in good business. So it's tough because you can hand it off to this bullpen also, and they'll do very well. I mean, Bautista's a really, really big blow, and you would love to have him, but Yanier Cano has taken a great step into being in his position. So this series should be very good. I mean, this Rangers lineup is scary. These Orioles are young and hungry. I mean, this Orioles team is very good, and it's headlined by some young studs that are only going to get better. I mean, Adley is amazing, and Gunnar is also amazing. So what are we going to get? These first couple games are going to be in Camden Yards, and these fans are going to be excited about this Orioles team. They have been this whole year, but now it's the playoffs. The Camden Yards is going to be packed. So how will the Rangers deal with that? It's going to be interesting, and then it'll be also pretty ecstatic in Texas for the games 3 and 4 of this series. This series is going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to think about. Are the Orioles ready? Is this Rangers lineup clicking now? Are they just too hot to take series or to stop? So I think. Also, no John Means for this series. He's not on this roster for the Orioles is a pretty massive blow because he ended that season pretty well, coming off of injury, not pitching very much at all. He would have been a very good boost to have at any capacity out of the bullpen or as a starter. Just what could you get, it's tough. I was wrong about that Rangers Rays series. So, man, I can see this Rangers lineup just absolutely butchering anything like the Orioles have, which would be, I think, a little disappointing, I think, for the Orioles, but it shouldn't be because they are well ahead of schedule. But if I had to pick, man, I'm going to say Orioles in 6. I think that the Orioles are, I think, a better team. I think they've been a better team the whole year. This Rangers team has had ups and downs, but this Orioles team has been steady the whole time. So I'm going to pick them in a should be very exciting series. And then you'll have the Orioles in the NLCS or the ALCS, which will be pretty electric, regardless of who they play, because this Orioles team is a fun team and will be for a long time.